Imagine waking up on a Tuesday morning, opening your brokerage app and seeing a crisp six-figure balance sitting completely liquid. No debt ties to it, no inheritance, just raw optionality. For most Americans living paycheck to paycheck, a sudden job loss is an immediate existential disaster. But when you cross this specific threshold, the fear vanishes. And that's exactly when most people make the single biggest mistake that ruins their financial future. Phase 1, the survival arc. For most people, money feels exactly like oxygen. The second it runs low, everything changes. Your job decisions, your relationships, your confidence, even the way you sleep at night. But there is a specific invisible milestone where money stops being oxygen and it becomes a shield. And trust me, it happens way before you ever become a millionaire. I'm talking about the exact moment you cross your first $100,000 liquid. No debt ties to it, no inheritance, just raw, unseen runway. Now sounds smart, right? Everyone wants a six-figure account. But here's the thing people don't tell you. The biggest change isn't what's sitting in that account. It's how that number completely rewires your brain. Think about a guy named Dave. 5 years ago, Dave was living paycheck to paycheck in a cramped apartment in Austin. If his car broke down or his company downsized, his entire life collapsed. Because of that fear, he tolerated a toxic manager, took a lower salary than he deserved, and said yes to every single weekend shift. Fear was running his life. Day after day, it was the same brutal routine. Rent, groceries, insurance, utilities, and at the end of the month, that familiar sinking feeling of looking at a double-digit bank balance. When you're in that zone, you don't have a career strategy, you have a survival strategy. You can't plan 5 years out because you're terrified about next month's landlord email. But Dave quietly spent half a decade cutting back. He drove a reliable car, skipped the expensive group trips to Cabo, and automatically routed money into index funds. It wasn't flashy. His friends thought he was being too cheap. But last month, he crossed the $100,000 mark. He didn't buy a luxury SUV to celebrate. He kept everything exactly the same. But look at him now. Your bank account isn't just showing money anymore, it's showing how much pressure you carry every single day. Dave still works hard, but he has completely stopped making decisions out of desperation. When you have that kind of fallback, the word no enters your vocabulary. You don't scream it, you don't make a scene. It's a quiet, polite no, that timeline doesn't work for me. Or no, I won't be working this weekend. And the wild part? People respect you more for it. It changes the entire power dynamic in the room. Phase 2, the capital shift. But the story doesn't end with just saying no to your boss. Something deeper happens to your wealth psychology. When Dave had zero savings, his only thought was, how do I make more money fast? He was tempted by every crypto trend, every wild get-rich-quick side hustle on his feed. He felt he had to gamble because the slow path felt hopeless. But now, he remembers the sacrifices. He remembers saying no to the boys' night out. He remembers the cold, calculated discipline it took to stack that first 100 grand. Suddenly, his brain asks a completely new question. How do I protect this? This is the exact moment you understand why Warren Buffett's #1 rule is never lose money. You stop chasing crazy 30% returns that sound too good to be true. Instead, you look at capital protection. You diversify, a few index funds, a solid ETF, and a 6-month emergency fund. You realize that building wealth is hard, but keeping it is the real art. When you have real skin in the game, your tolerance for nonsense drops to zero. Those flashy ads promising overnight millions don't look exciting anymore. They just look dangerous. You start valuing a boring, steady 8% market average over a volatile asset that could drop 50% while you sleep. Phase 3, the freedom equation. That's when you notice the next major shift. You start looking at people driving $70,000 trucks they can't afford just to impress neighbors they don't even like, and it looks incredibly childish to you. You realize that a massive chunk of consumerism is just insecure people trying to look rich to other insecure people. When you know you have a rock-solid foundation underneath you, you no longer feel the need to prove your value to the world. Quiet confidence becomes your true equity. Time, health, and mental clarity suddenly become your most valuable assets. You stop trading your peace for an extra couple of bucks. Think about it. Once that money is tucked away in low-cost index funds, it works for you 24/7. It doesn't take sick days, it doesn't ask for a promotion, it quietly compounds in the background while you sleep, cook, or hang out with your family. That is when you realize your money has finally transitioned from a defense mechanism into an offensive tool. But don't get comfortable just yet, because the moment you cross this threshold and finally feel safe, a new, completely invisible trap opens right under your feet, and if you're not careful, it will wipe out everything you just built.